Hi. Welcome back to the Bookcase of Classic Works of MYBED, a channel to share knowledge to develop your full potential through good books and videos. Today is a sharing session through the classic novel, The Alchemist, with the title Where Does Real Motivation Come From? Please listen with me. When we are in our 20s, many of us ask ourselves, what is my dream? What do I really want to do? By the age of 25, we ask ourselves again, have I really made an effort to achieve my dream? Is this the right path for my heart and what I want? And when we are 30 years old, once again we ask ourselves, if my dream for so long has not been achieved, should I start now? If you are still swaying in life, still living with an uncertain heart, then with about 2 hours of reading this 225 pages novel The Alchemist, you will be able to find your own answers. The Alchemist was published over 30 years ago, translated into 81 languages, and sold in over 170 countries. In Brazil, its popularity is comparable to God and football. The reason why this book has such a great influence is because when reading this book, each of us can see a shadow of ourselves somewhere in this story. The Alchemist tells the story of a young shepherd named Santiago. In order to achieve his dream, he did not hesitate to sell all his sheep, which is his entire property. Overcoming countless difficulties, he finally realized his dream of finding treasure in the desert. This is a parable and a very simple story, but it has changed the hearts of hundreds of millions of readers. This is also the spiritual journey of the author himself. At the age of 17, the author Paulo Coelho was rebellious and was sent to a mental hospital by his parents. When he grew up, he was also imprisoned for opposing the dictatorship. At the age of 38, the author seemed to have done nothing. He then went on a pilgrimage of nearly 600 kilometers on foot to Santiago, Spain. This journey lasted more than 3 months, which gradually calmed his restless heart. After that, he incorporated his knowledge and insights from this journey into the story of the shepherd Santiago's search for treasure. After the publication of The Alchemist, it has inspired countless people who are confused and struggling in life. He also became the only Latin American writer who can be compared to Marquez, the author of the classic novel 100 Years of Solitude. The Alchemist tells us that if a life has no purpose, it will only be a chaotic maze. All who step into it will spend their entire lives in a series of wanderings in search of a way out. If you care too much about gain and loss, you will always miss your dreams. The character Santiago was born into a very ordinary family in Spain. His parents only lived on a few acres of land. As soon as he was born, they placed all their hopes on him. They sent him to a seminary with the hope that he would become a priest and be the pride of the family. A priest would have a very stable life. But that was not Santiago's wish. One day, he plucked up the courage to tell his father that he did not want to become a priest. His dream was to travel to different places to explore the world outside. Although his father strongly opposed it, in the end, he could not persuade someone who had truly made up his mind. In the end, he had to compromise and agree to let his son try his hand. He gave his son 3 gold coins and said, "Buy sheep and live the life you want." These 3 gold coins are not only a compromise from his father, but they also symbolize his praise and resonance from the bottom of his heart. Because he himself, a character in his youth, also had the desire to travel to different places. In this book, each character has their own dreams. If Santiago's father also wanted to travel, even the popcorn seller on the side of the road had the dream of going to Africa, or the boss of the crystal shop wanted to go to Mecca. Even the bandits near the pyramids also had the dream of hunting for treasure just like Santiago. However, for many reasons, under the pressure of reality, they finally had to give up their dreams and could only leave behind regrets every day. But no matter what the reason is, it still lies between the comparison between gain and loss. And it is this calculation that has blurred the original intention and the original desire of you. If we do not have the courage and the determination in our hearts for what we really want, we will never be able to overcome the safe room in front of us. The character Santiago broke the chain of that safe reality. He left his hometown and became a shepherd and chose to live the life he wanted. In 2 years, he learned a lot of the skills of a shepherd. He saw many beautiful landscapes and met many people. He thought that his whole life would be smooth with his current life like this. But once again, it was like a signal from the universe sent to him through a dream. 2 days in a row he had the same dream. It is the image of a boy taking him to Egypt and telling him that there is a treasure nearby. What does this dream ultimately mean? So he met an old man known as the King of Salem, who told him that this dream was his destiny. The treasure is truly fascinating. But current life is more realistic. He was very hesitant. If you go looking for treasure now, you will have to give up what you have now. Like many other people, he almost lost himself once. If you are too concerned with gains and losses, you will most likely lose what truly makes your destiny. Because like the King of Salem told the shepherd boy, what is called destiny is what we really want to do. This statement immediately aroused passion in Santiago. Isn't it your lifelong dream to see the big world out there? So Santiago followed the call of his heart. Once again, he chose to set out to fulfill his own dream. You need to know that the most spectacular trick in this life is when you give up, bow to reality and say it's too late, this is your destiny, you have to accept reality. But actually no, destiny is not something you have to regret. Destiny must be something you really want to do. People still wonder, will you eventually regret what you dreamed of doing, or will you regret what you have done? According to a study, for most of what people have done, if we fail, within a short time, we will only regret not doing better. Then over time we will gradually rationalize it without feeling regretful anymore. But for the things we really want and haven't been able to do yet, we will ruminate on them every day, regret them all our lives, and have a hard time forgetting them for the rest of our lives. Because we cannot rationalize it and we cannot convince ourselves. There is a writer who once said, because we refuse to take the first step, our dreams will remain distant. The dream will not be able to withstand the weight, and it is also very afraid of discouragement. Just like steel burns red in fire, only when tempered promptly at high temperatures can it be bent into the desired shape. Once it cools, it becomes more difficult to shape. Therefore, when your long-standing silent dream is being awakened, take action immediately. Take the first step in pursuing your dreams while that enthusiasm lasts. Even though we may not be able to reach it in the end, in our daily efforts, we will always see a better and better self. On the road to pursuing our dreams, not everything can be smooth sailing. Santiago, the protagonist of the novel The Alchemist, is no exception. He had to face 2 major setbacks in his early days in Africa. First, he encountered a language barrier. Second, he met a man who spoke Spanish, but who eventually stole all of his money. On the day before, his future still looked bright in his eyes. But now, he was left with nothing. He was alone and lost in a foreign land. At this moment, he remembered the words of the King of Salem, who had told him, when you really want something, the entire universe will conspire to help you achieve it. These words gave him great confidence and courage. The next day, he packed his belongings and set out to find opportunities. Life sometimes strikes us down, but it also brings us hope. All we need is a pair of eyes that believe, the ability to find solutions to problems, and a willingness to help others. Santiago found a crystal shop on the street. But it was rather deserted. Through observation, he suggested to the owner that the crystal would be more attractive if it were clean. He would polish all the unsold crystal for free, if the owner would give him a meal. When the owner still refused, Santiago took the initiative to wipe the jars himself. Unexpectedly, 2 customers came to buy after he had just wiped them. So he got the job. But his dream of going to Egypt, which required him to cross thousands of kilometers of desert, could not be achieved by working here for a few days. In the process of pursuing our dreams, there will be times when we feel the most hopeless. That is when we work hard for a long time, only to realize that our dreams are still too far away. Santiago was also very sad about this. But he still had to stay at the crystal shop. He temporarily put aside his dream and focused on making money. Sometimes, he had great ideas to improve the shop's business. A year later, Santiago had doubled his original money. Moreover, he not only learned about business, but also learned to speak Arabic. For someone who has a clear vision of what he really wants to do, the difficulties and challenges ahead are no longer injustice or torture. They are seen as challenges to temper ourselves and as stepping stones to our growth. To reach the shore of dreams, you must let go. At this point, Santiago had a choice. He could live a comfortable life as a merchant. He could pursue his dream of finding treasure in Egypt. The owner of the crystal shop tried to persuade him to stay, but Santiago remembered the words of the king of Salem, "You must always remember what you want." So he gave up his comfortable life and chose to pursue his dream. He never forgot that his goal was to find the treasure in Egypt. He continued his journey, crossing thousands of kilometers of desert. He came to a small oasis. There, he met a beautiful girl named Fatima. The moment he looked into her eyes, Santiago's heart was filled with love. He fell in love with her deeply, and even considered giving up his dream to stay with her forever. But the dreams of the alchemist awakened Santiago. He realized that giving up his dream would be a lifetime of regret, and it would also weigh heavily on Fatima's heart. After seeing his true heart, Santiago was determined to pursue his dream and go to Egypt. The alchemist said, "Those who truly live are those who know how to let go." You must be willing to let go in order to have. If you cannot let go, you will never have. Those who achieve great things are those who know how to let go of comfort and immediate gratification in order to pursue their true heart's desires. True motivation always comes from the inner fire. Next, the character Santiago faced countless challenges as he began his quest to find the treasure of Egypt. While crossing the desert, he was captured by soldiers and all of his money was taken. He faced situations that forced him to turn himself into wind within 3 days. If not, he would lose his life to the people. In the face of that impossible challenge, he remained spirited. He used all his love and heart to communicate with the sun and wind, to feel the soul of the world, to connect with all things, and to strive to understand the language of the universe. With the encouragement and inspiration of the alchemist, he challenged the impossible. And in the end, he turned into the wind. But when he reached the pyramids, he not only found no treasure, but was also robbed of all his gold and beaten all over his body. But from the words of the robber, he learned that the exact location of the treasure was in his hometown. When you really have a dream that you always want to achieve and it always exists in your heart, no matter how difficult it is, or how hard life is, it will not be able to make it difficult for you. As Nietzsche once said, a person who knows why he lives can endure any life. And the author also revealed that when he has the ability to realize his dreams, it will make life more interesting. Each of us has infinite possibilities in life, and the process of pursuing our dreams is always full of joy. Maybe dreams will not be realized, but in the process of pursuit, you will have happiness, real joy, and you will definitely become a better version of yourself. Like the character Santiago in this book, he crossed the sea, crossed the desert, went to different places, went in a circle, and finally returned to the starting point to find the treasure. It seems like a waste of time, but in fact, what he saw and heard along the way, the people and things he met made up the rich meaning of his whole life. Even if Santiago did not find the treasure, the life he experienced was very interesting. All the ups and downs are experiences that make up his growth process. Life should not be the days we have lived, but the days worth remembering. Dear friends, please remember that if you have a dream, you must pursue it. Never give up on your dreams in your heart, even if it is realistic. You must keep your dreams in the warmest place in your heart. No one can stop you from living the life you want. Except for you. You must believe that all motivation must come from the inner fire of your own heart. You must believe that there is no tomorrow that you cannot reach. The rest of your life. I hope that all of us can face the true desire in our hearts, bravely move towards our dreams, take responsibility for our own lives, and make them shine. Thank you for listening. MYBED, a channel that shares knowledge for comprehensive development through good books. If you find today's video helpful, please share it with those who need it. Support me with a like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to watch my latest weekly videos. And if you have any feelings or thoughts, please share them immediately in the comments section below. Thank you. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.